Eastern Illinois head coach Chris Wilkerson, the team coming off a loss at Lindenwood last week, this week at FBS number 10 ranked Alabama to close out the season. So, Coach, some thoughts about your squad, and we'll go to some questions.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. First thing, just want to say thank you to you and your staff for doing this every single week, the entire season. I know it's an awful lot of work, but we're grateful for the exposure and really, really appreciate your efforts and your time and your energy in doing this every single week. As far as our football team goes, obviously, last weekend, it down in St. Charles was absolutely a microcosm of our entire season. And, we did some things decent in all three phases on offense and defense and special teams, and certainly did not do some good things or did some things poorly on offense and defense and special teams. Offensively, we took care of the football. We were 3 for 3 in the red zone, but again, we settled for field goals twice and only one touchdown. We just got to find a way to try to finish drives with touchdowns defensively. Again, we did some really good things, but in the fourth quarter, we got two takeaways and we can only manufacture 3 points off of those. In the fourth quarter, we gave up four explosive plays for 21 points very, very, very quickly, and kind of wore down. And our special teams, even, we had a new place kicker. He was 2 for 2 on field goals. We did some good things. We had our best kickoff return of the season in a couple situations. A freshman punt returner muffed one and fumbled it, but we regained it, and then he muffed another one, but he had his longest return of his career. But at the same time, we had an extra point blocked, and certainly had a punt blocked before the end of the first half that really was poorly executed situational stuff for us. So we were trying not to get doubled up on possessions, and just didn't do enough. And so we've got an awful lot of things we've got to correct as a football team and as a program. But we're certainly excited about the extremely unique generational opportunity presented to our players and program this weekend.
Well, I'm going to start with the question that Dan sent me, and that's what he said. He said, you talked about this trip being once in a generation. What makes that so?
Yeah, I think anybody who is a fan or a historian of college football would absolutely say that the University of Alabama is the gold standard of college football. You look at everything that they do, national championships and coaching legends, and everything that they do is elite. Whether it's coaching and its culture and its talent and its development or its schemes, it's their facilities, it's their atmosphere, it's the tradition. They are absolutely unequivocally the best of the best. And so, as a competitor, whether you're a coach or whether you're a player or whether you're an administrator or whether you're a support staff member, this is certainly, again, a unique opportunity to see what the best of the best looks like and go out and try to compete. And all we can do is continue to prepare ourselves and make sure that we play with great effort and try to represent our institution in a first class manner.
There's probably no good time to play Alabama, but then Oklahoma trips them up last week, so they're coming off a loss. But they still have obviously a lot to play for with the playoff and stuff too. But what have you seen from them? Obviously, we talked about their quarterback a couple weeks ago, and he's one of the Heisman finalists.
Yeah, there's no question. They went out, they're in, and that's absolutely unequivocally for certain. They are the most talented football team in the country. Yes, certainly, I think Ty Simpson is absolutely a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. Um, you know, um, on offense, they are unbelievably talented. They're massive up front, led by one of the best offensive linemen I've seen in the history of college football, and Caden Proctor. They'll hand him the ball from time to time. They'll throw him the ball. He'll lead block. He certainly anchors the offensive line at left tackle. But all the guys, I mean, you go up and down the roster. They're 5-star. They're 4-star. They're unbelievably talented. All three running backs are unbelievable. We've talked about Ty, the receivers and the tight ends are all fast, physical, freaky players. But the biggest thing that separates, I think, their players and their program is they're so dedicated to their craft. They're so focused. They're so disciplined. These guys do anything and everything they can 365 days a year to continue to develop and be that talent, be that good. There's a lot of talented people walking around this world, but the ones that become great or elite are the ones that take advantage and develop that talent. And again, I think that's something that as a university and as a football program, they have certainly done over the history of college football, but obviously this season.
Jawan Nixon is from Tuscaloosa. This trip was extra special for him. How was he that Alabama was on the? How did he feel when Alabama was on the schedule when you signed him to come play at EIU?
Yeah, Jawan is an unbelievable person for us, and he has obviously been a very productive player. Unfortunately, he had a thumb injury in the middle of last week, so he had to play the last game in a cast, and he'll have to play if he's able to this weekend in a cast. But I know he's going to do everything he can again to try to get on the field. And he does have some unique ties. There's some people that he played against in high school that are on their roster. There's some family connection. I think some cousins or some relations that he may have that are on their team. And I know that was certainly something for him that would be very unique. And again, a once in a lifetime opportunity just to be able to, be on the field, Saban Field at Bryant Denny Stadium as somebody who grew up in the state of Alabama or grew up in the Tuscaloosa area. It's a generational opportunity for him. And again, he's one of our finest people in our program and certainly one of our most consistent players. So I'm excited for him and for all the guys to have that experience.
The last question Dan had was, what are some immediate plans for you and your staff once the season is over?
Yeah, first thing when the guys get back, they get a week for Thanksgiving. Obviously, with us not going to the playoffs, and you get to this time of the year, and everybody knows that college football has changed over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years drastically, and these are the times when our players will be encouraged to go home and talk with the people in their circles and consider what they want to do going forward. And when we come back, then from Thanksgiving that Sunday night, we'll have a team meeting, and then we get into that first week of December, and we'll have exit meetings with our players and talk about exactly where each of them are in our program, their development. Do they want to be here? And then you start to have some of those grown up, candid conversations about people moving on, whether it's players moving on or whether we're moving on from a player. With the portal window opening later in January. So you'll have those candid conversations and try to figure out where you're at and what your needs are as a program. And then we'll certainly go out and we'll be trying to address those needs very, very quickly. Whether it be through Division 2 and Division 3 kids that are already in the portal. Obviously, the Division 1 players have not entered the portal yet with it not opening, the junior college players, and then certainly continuing to recruit high school student athletes. So it will start with re-recruiting our own players and trying to keep the ones that want to be here. And then certainly it will be about trying to acquire as much talent as we can that fits here at EIU as we go forward and try to rebuild our program for next fall.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time this morning and all season long, and best of luck against the Crimson Tide this weekend.
Appreciate it, Kyle. Again, thanks a million to everything you guys do. Really, really appreciate it. Go Panthers.